production level, there are three things. Okay, let's begin. Let's review. The lowest level of leadership, the first level, it's where we all start, but we don't want to stay, is the position level. Number two is the permission level. At this level, people give us more energy because we connect and relate to them. On level number one, people follow us because they have to. On level number two, people follow us because they want to. Let's go to level number three. The third level of leadership is the production level. The key word on the production level is results. At this level, people follow us because what we have done for the organization. Now, this is an amazing level to get to. I've often said that this is where a leader develops credibility. What I mean by that is, until you are successful yourself, until you produce yourself, you have no reason for people to follow you. In other words, remember the second question that followers ask leaders, can you help me? It's impossible to help others if you haven't been successful yourself. You cannot give what you do not have. So it's at level number three that the leader begins to gain credibility. He or she at this level have proven themselves to be a producer. That's why we call it the production level. They bring results. The company is better because of them. And the moment that you become successful yourself, the moment that you are able to produce greatly yourself, now you have the credibility to lead others. Your credibility doesn't come out of title or position. Your credibility comes in the fact that you've been successful. People want to follow someone who's been successful. Now, at this third level, the production level, there are three things that people that do well at this level consistently do. Number one is they lead by example. It's at level number three that example is essential for leadership. People do what people see. Stanford research says that 89% of everything that you and I know in life, we learned by visually seeing it somewhere else. We watch somebody, we observe somebody. Example is very essential for success. Perhaps the greatest leadership words that you and I can utter are the words, follow me. People need a visual example if they're going to be successful, and you need to be that visual leader, because leadership is visual. Leadership means people can see you. And at level number three, when you are successful and when you produce, you now have the credibility for other people. Many leaders are like travel agents. They send people where they've never been themselves. And to be a successful leader, you have to show and be the example. So, leaders at level number three, they're a good example. Secondly, they create momentum. It's at level number three that momentum begins to be a part of your company, and that momentum lifts you to a higher level. I often teach that momentum is a leader's best friend. What I mean by that is that when you can produce results, that creates momentum. And momentum is what I call the great exaggerator. When you have it, everybody looks better than they really are. When you lose it, everybody looks worse than they really are. And so as a leader, when you begin to produce results, you begin to get momentum. And when you begin to get momentum, many good things happen. Example, when you have momentum, 80% of the problems are solved by momentum alone. In other words, the greatest problem solver that you have in your company is momentum. Because when things are going well, most of the problems are much easier solved than if they're not going well. Let me illustrate momentum for a second. If a train is going down the track at 55 miles an hour, if there's a 5-foot thick concrete steel reinforced wall in front of the train, that train will hit the wall, smash it, and keep on going. Now, how does that happen? Momentum. The train had momentum to smash the 5-foot thick concrete steel reinforced wall. That same train, however, without momentum, stopped dead on the tracks, not moving at all. If you put a 1-inch block in front of the driving wheels, 1 inch, that train can't even get going. It can't get started. Now, isn't it interesting? Same train. When that train has no momentum, a 1-inch problem becomes a big problem. When that train has momentum, a 5-foot thick concrete steel reinforced problem isn't a problem. You see, it's not the size of your problem that's the issue. It's the speed of your momentum. And at level number 3, leaders, when they begin to produce results, they begin to create momentum. And when they begin to create momentum, they begin to knock down those problems that they have. When you have no momentum, you have no productivity, then everything, even a 1-inch block, becomes a problem. So therefore, many times I tell people, your problem is not your problem. But the problem is you don't know the problem's not a problem. So the problem that's not a problem becomes a problem, not because it's a problem. But the problem is you didn't know the problem was a problem. So now the problem that wasn't a problem becomes a problem, and you truly have a problem. Okay? I won't repeat that. I won't repeat that. Trust me, I can't repeat that. Now, what am I saying? Very simply, momentum knocks down problems. And at level 3, a level 3 leader, all of a sudden, momentum enters and things begin to be just much better than they have been before. So at level 3, the leader's an example. The leader creates momentum. And the third thing that happens at level number 3 is you begin to attract better people to your company. And there's a reason for that. You attract better people to your company because you're a better leader. Remember when I gave the law of the lid and I shared with you, let's talk about it from. If your leadership is a 5, what's your company? Talk to me. A 4, absolutely. And it's not going to be a 6 or a 7 or 8 because you have the lid. Now, I also told you that you could grow as a leader. You could develop yourself. You could improve. You could learn. Okay, so you could go from a 5 to a 6 to a 7. Here's where I want you to catch. If I'm a level 5 leader, who do I attract to me? 4s, 3s, 2s, and 1s. But if I go up and I'm a level 7 leader, now I attract 6s. You see, the higher I go as a leader, the better people that I attract around me. If you do not have the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership, I encourage you greatly to get it. Because one of the laws is the law of magnetism. And the law of magnetism says we attract who we are, not who we want. That's a huge law. So the better leader I am, the better people I attract. That is all part of level 3 production. Let's go to level 4. I will teach level 4 and level 5 in the next 7 minutes. And then I'll take 35 minutes and we'll do some Q&A before we close at 8:30. But let me teach you level 4, which is the people development level. And at this level, we're now developing people. The key word is reproduction. And at level number 4, people follow us because what we have done for them. What we have done for them as part of the organization. In other words, when you start developing people, you make the people better. And when you make the people better, they're grateful because they look and they say, since I followed your leadership, I myself, I become a better person, I become a better leader. Now, my goal in teaching leadership is always to help people get to level 4. I'll teach level 5 briefly, but level 4 is always my goal. Because if you can develop people, beautiful things begin to happen to you. At level number 3, when you produce, that brings addition to your company. At level number 4, when you develop leaders, you go from addition to multiplication. Because once you start developing leaders, you're no longer adding, you're beginning to multiply. To develop leaders and to be a good level 4 leader, there are 3 things you need to do well. Number 1 is recruitment. Level 4 leaders recruit well. The reason they recruit well is because they understand that to develop good people, you have to recruit good people. I have a wonderful friend of mine who is a very successful coach in the States. And he said, John, I've coached good players and I've coached bad players. And I'm a better coach with good players. Well, of course he is. We're all a better coach with good players. So you're recruiting. And here's how recruitment works. In your company, just like my company, people come in and people go out. It's like a revolving door. People are coming in, people are going out, people are coming in, people are going out, people are coming in, people are going out. So the question is not, are people coming in and going out? Of course. The question is, who is coming in? And who is going out? If 7s and 8s are coming in and 2s and 3s are going out, oh, happy day. If 2s and 3s are coming in and 7 and 8s are going out, you're in trouble. So the question is not, am I gaining people, losing people, or people coming in, people going out? The question is, who's coming in and who's going out? And the key is recruiting well. And the key to recruiting well is to have a clear picture of what you're looking for. People come to me all the time and they'll say, John, I want to hire some potentially good leaders for my company. What should I do? I said, it's very simple. Do you know what a good leader looks like? Do you have a picture of a leader? So what you need to do is you need to get a picture of what a good leader looks like. When people pick me up at the airport, many times they've never seen me. They don't know me. And there are 2 kinds of people that pick me up at the airport. The first kind of person that picks me up at the airport, they have a sign with my name on it. And they just stick the sign up real high and it says Maxwell, and they expect me to come off the plane, look up, see the sign, shake their hand and say, you found me. Now, they really didn't find me. I found myself. All they did is put my name up there. They didn't know what it looked like. In fact, they're probably over there talking to their friend. But they got my name up, and then they're just talking away, and they wait for me to find me. And when I find me, they say, I found him. That's not the way to recruit people. There's another kind of person that comes and picks me up at the airport, and they have one of my books, okay? And at the back of my books is a picture of me, okay? Hopefully, it's one of my newer books, okay? And so they're looking at my picture, and people are coming through and they're going. You have no idea if they're good or they're bad, if they're going to work or they're not going to work. And so at level number 4, the leaders at level 4, they've got a good, clear picture of what they're looking for, and they recruit according to those qualities. I wrote a book several years ago called The Qualities of a Leader. There are 21 of them, Qualities of a Leader. And all that is a picture book. Here's a quality you look for. Here's a quality you look for. So they recruit well. Number 2, the second thing they do is they position people well. Again, at level number 4, they are really committed to putting people in the right place. They're really committed to make sure that they have put the people with their strengths in the right place. Number 3, the third thing they do at level 4 really well is they equip well. They train their people. They equip their people. Now, for 40 years, I've been training and equipping people. In fact, during the break, I was up front and taking pictures, and people were just chatting with me for a moment. And I had many of you say you want to know more about the John Maxwell team, where I train coaches and prepare them. And if you just go to johnmaxwell.com, you can find out all you need to know about that. But I know how to train people. I know how to equip them. I've done it for so long. And my companies have trained millions and millions of people. What I want to give you is a 5-step process to equipping people that will really be helpful to you. This will really work. And here's what's wonderful. This 5-step process that I have of equipping people is very simple. You can do it. I can do it. Every person in this room can go through and do successfully these 5 steps. So let me give them to you, okay? Step number 1, I do it. Before I train anyone, anything, I have to be able to do it myself. One of the problems in training is people are training people to do what they don't do themselves. There is no integrity, there's no credibility in that. So step 1, I do it. Step 2, I do it and you are with me. Now you watch me. And maybe for the next couple weeks, couple months, I don't know how long it's going to take, but for a period of time, you're going to go with me and you're going to observe and watch me as I do the thing I'm training you to do. Step 1, I do it. Step 2, I do it, you're with me. Step 3, you do it. You do it, and I'm with you. After a period of time, I watch, and you've watched me long enough, I say, okay, the ball is in your hands. I'm going to watch you, and I coach you, and I tweak you, and I make sure that you keep improving and getting better. Step 4 is you do it. There comes a time that you don't need me anymore. You can do it. You've learned from me, you've watched me, you've asked questions, I've worked with you, I've coached you. Now you can do it on your own. Most equipping stops with step 4. I do it, you're with me. You do it, I'm with you. You do it. Most times, equipping and training stops right there. Big mistake. If you really want to reproduce leaders, and if you really want to multiply yourself, you've got to go to step 5. And step 5 is you do it, and someone is with you. In other words, you have never trained a person until that person has trained someone else. That's how you reproduce leaders. That's how you multiply. That's how you go from addition to multiplication. I do it, you're with me. You do it, I'm with you. You do it, and you do it with someone else. Level 4 leaders do that very, very well. Now, there's a 5th level of leadership, and I want to share that with you. And the reason why is I want to close this teaching out so we can do about 30 minutes of me trying my best to add value to you by asking questions, or by answering questions. Level 5 is the pinnacle level. And on level 5, the key word is respect. And people follow because of who you are and what you represent. They follow you because who you are and what you represent. And this is the top of leadership. This is the pinnacle of leadership. This is as high as you can go, and this is as good as it gets. So, with the visual up here, let me take a couple of minutes and do some teaching. Very important teaching. I've talked about 5 levels. We all start at level 1 with the position. Then, if we're good with relationships and we connect, we can get to level 2, we can get to level 3, we could maybe get to level 4. Now, here's what I want you to see about these 5 levels. When you go from 1 to level number 2, you don't leave level number 1. You just build your leadership on level 1. So if you're a level 2 leader, you still have a position, but with the position, you connect with the people. If you're a level 3 leader, you still produce, but while producing, you relate to the people, connect with them, and you still have the title. If you're at level 4, you're developing people, but you're standing on level 3, 2, and 1. So the higher you go in leadership, the deeper the foundation, the more solid your leadership is, and the more long-term success that you're going to have. So you never leave one level to go to the next one. You just build on the previous level. So you're now developing a foundation. Does that make sense? That's the first part I want to teach you about the 5 levels. The second thing I want to teach you about these 5 levels, because what's happening is when I said I'm going to teach the 5 levels of leadership, the whole time you've been asking yourself a question: what level am I on? What level am I on? Well, you're on different levels with different people. Let me explain. Let's say I am a positional leader over 10 people. The only level that everybody is on the same level with me is level 1. As soon as I start going up to level 2 as a leader, some of those 10 will go with me and some will not. I don't connect with everybody. I don't relate well with maybe everybody. And besides, the new ones haven't had enough time to relate with me. So if I have 10 at level 1, I maybe only have 8 that went with me to level 2. Now, I'm still leading 10 people. But of the 10 people I leave, 8 of them are on level 2 with me. And when I go to production, and now we have to produce and have results, not all 8 will go to level 3 with me. Maybe 5 will. Now, are you seeing? The higher you go, the less you have people with you. Now, if I have 5 people on level 3 that are producing, I still have 10 people I'm leading. And when I get to, when I get to level number 4, maybe 3 people are there. The point that I'm trying to illustrate is very simple. As you go up the levels of leadership in your own leadership development, your goal is to take people with you, but as you go to the next level, some are left behind. Now, your strategy is to ask yourself, what level am I on with my people? So, if I was leading these 6 people on the front row, I would look at each one of them individually, and I would say, what level am I on with her? What level am I on with her? What level am I on with him? What level am I on with her? What level am I? And if I'm leading 6 people, I will promise you they're not all on the same level with me. So I have to find out and discover what level I'm on with them. And the reason for that is I lead them on their level. And the strategy for the next 12 months is to take every one of them just one level higher. I'm not trying to improve them 100%. I'm going to say, oh, if I'm on level 2, I say, I want to get you to level 3. If you're on level 3, I want to get you to level 4. If you're on level 1, I want to get you to level 2. And that becomes my leadership strategy. I lead people based upon where they are, and my strategy is determined by where I want them to be able to go. So here's just a little assignment for you that we won't do tonight, but is good for you. Write the names of the people that you lead. And beside their name, which one of these levels are they on with you? I would encourage you. I wrote a book 3 years ago that's a bestseller called The 5 Levels of Leadership. I would encourage you to get the book, because in the book, I gave you a strategy how to take a person from one level to the next level, to the next level, to the next level, okay? Now that's the 5 levels of leadership. And what's beautiful is once you understand it, you can go up the levels. Once your people are taught this, they can also go up the levels. And as you raise the people in the levels of leadership, you raise the effectiveness and you raise the leadership level of your company. And as you raise the lid of your company on leadership, then your company can grow. The growth of your company will follow the leadership lid. And when the leadership lid stops, the growth stops. When the leadership level goes, it goes. So when you can increase the leadership level of all your people by 1 number in 1 year, it becomes exciting what happens. I have 4 companies. This last year, they all finished and had the greatest year ever. Why? Because we constantly develop leaders and we constantly teach and train people how to lead. And as they get better, the company gets better, okay? Now, that's the 5 levels of leadership. Did you learn something? Huh? Okay, good. That's it. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask my friend to come up with me, and we're going to do, he's going to ask some questions, correct? And I'm going to give some answers. So there may be a chair that they're bringing up. Are you going to come up here with me? Or be there? Okay, you'll be at the podium? Okay. Please give him a hand, would you? Give him